Okay guys, here we are. We've been planting it about 6 weeks. It's harvest time. So the first thing that always comes in is zucchini and squash, followed by green beans, cucumbers, tomatoes, and peppers and corn and watermelons and stuff like that, okra. So today we're picking squash and zucchini. So come along and let's see what we got. All right guys, if you'll notice, not everyone has a squash ready to pick on it, but what happens is I have to replant every once in a while because say the seeds didn't come up or it was real dry or stuff. So here's good squash here. So I'll go back in and replant it. So that's why some of them are ready to pick. Some of them are not so much. Like I pick every day. So I'll leave those on there for another day and they'll be ready. You can train your squash and zucchini to where they'll be a certain size each day you pick. And it'll be a lot easier, and your garden will do much better. Some people only pick once or twice at a time. Like I said, I like to keep it kind of a regular picking every day because it's fresher to me. As you see, like these squash, these are what we call twins. This is actually a triplet, and it'll grow up. It'll get a little bit bigger. It doesn't get too tough or seedy until it gets huge. All these are real close to a few days waiting. Like when you start seeing them starting to kind of get these bumps on them like that, that's when you want to make sure you get them picked before they get too, that's kind of a sign that they'll start getting tough after they get that on there, that rough outside on it. So we're in here, got this one. And if you'll see, I try to keep them all about the same size when I pick them. And guys, when I pick this squash, I used to tell the kids when they were little, you got to wipe their butt. This is where the bloom comes in on them. You want to get that out, so because otherwise it may start to rot and go bad. Zucchini. This is my zucchini. This is about as small as I like to pick it. I usually like it to be a little bit bigger. Just seems like it just does better. No, it don't take it long to grow that way. So we'll go on through here. We'll see what we got. There's a lot of small squash in here if you look down in here that are waiting, and it won't be long to be ready. But when you get them up, like I said, about this size right here is a good size. And that one right there, I wipe that dirt off of them a little bit. Like when the zucchini starts getting kind of big, guys, you can they make zucchini bread with it. They say they like the bigger stuff for that. So you can do that. But when the zucchini get in full production too, we'll be doing a basket or so of that as well. If you see this is what the wind did. It broke some of the limbs off. But we'll see how well it does. Usually squash, if you break them limbs off, they don't do as well. They tends to hurt them a little bit. Another keeper squash, what we call a keeper squash here. We don't have to throw back. They fit the minimum South Atlantic Marine Fisheries size on those. And guys, sometimes you'll miss one and you'll come back the next couple of days and there will be like, this thing will be huge. And you're like, how did I miss that? But if you notice, this green, unlike yellow squash, this zucchini blends in real well with the environment. But if you'll notice the consistency of these, they're all about the same size. And that's the way I like to do them, is to get them all about the same size. And that's what I call training them. So then the downside is, instead of picking every day or a couple days, you pretty much have to pick them every day. The good side is that you will have plenty of stuff. And one of the big things that I think the why squash does so good, especially when it's sunny, see how big the leaves are? These leaves are what puts the growing on it, and on a bright sunny day it'll really produce a lot of stuff. Like, as we're going out, I'm gonna show you a couple of things I did getting ready for, it's supposed to rain. We had about, I guess 3 3 or 4 days ago, we had rain every day and we got up to about 2.5 inches maybe. So it really did the garden good. These green beans, as you can see, it won't be long, they'll be ready to pick. There you go, right here. See the little ones on there? Some of the they're starting to get a little size. They're probably 2-3 days, those will be ready. I went in and put a little side dressing of fertilizer on a lot of this, and I hoed it to get ahead of the rain. So hopefully that will do good. And these tomatoes, you guys can't see it, but there's a tomato basket in here. But this thing got so heavy, it pushed over the tomato basket. So what I did was, I needed to come do it in a couple of these. You can see some of these are holding up good. Tomato plants are loaded with blooms. I took these crates and I put in there and I got those lower limbs up off the ground. So when it does rain, it doesn't rotten your fruit. If it sits on that ground for a while, the dirt and the soil, worms will come up and eat it. If you can see in here, look at the clusters of tomatoes back down in these guys. We'll be eating tomatoes and those before too long. This plant right here, look, something got into it, probably maybe a nematode or something in the soil. Got it and killed the plant. You got that one. I thought this one was going to die, but this one seems like it's holding on a little bit, so we'll see what happens. Got these crates all up under there. And the thing about the crates too is they got holes in them, so if it comes up into them, it won't hurt it none. Actually support the plant. Big old giant tomato plants here. And if you look down here, they're just loaded with, look at all these, they call these sweet millions. Look at all the tomatoes, cherry tomatoes on that thing, guys. That thing is loaded. And there ain't nothing better than to come out after a little rain and pick a nice, fresh, vine ripened cherry tomato. Now this one right here, this is kind of a neat thing. This limb broke off when I was setting these up. So I just stuck it in the ground and it wilted for 2 or 3 days. But as you can see, that it took root. I think that's going to come back and make some tomatoes on it. All right, guys, you can see we almost had a basket full already. Okay, guys, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got to see the progression of the garden. Just 6 weeks into the garden on this and see how well it's come along. This is the second batch of corn that I do so that everything don't come in. That's the first batch. You can see it's almost waist high there. This one here is about shin high. In about another week, I'll put a side dressing of ammonium nitrate on it, and then we will have lots of corn. Thank you for watching. Tune in and stay with us, and we'll keep on picking some veggies.